Spinach has been promoted as a health food for generations, famously giving Popeye his strength, but when we examine it specifically for ND plus metabolism and Alzheimer's-related brain health, we need to separate cartoon mythology from actual biology. Spinach does offer real benefits, but the relationship to brain health is more nuanced than simply spinach is good for you. Let's explore the mechanisms and limitations. The connection to ND plus metabolism is primarily indirect. Spinach is rich in folate, which is vitamin B9, and folate plays a critical role in 1-carbon metabolism, a biochemical pathway that supports DNA methylation, repair, and synthesis. When these processes work efficiently, they reduce the cellular stress that causes excessive NAD+ consumption. Folate deficiency is also associated with elevated homocysteine levels, and high homocysteine is neurotoxic and has been linked to increased Alzheimer's risk. By providing folate, spinach helps maintain lower homocysteine levels. Spinach also contains a range of antioxidants including lutein, zeaxanthin, and various polyphenols. These compounds reduce oxidative stress throughout the body, including in the brain. Since oxidative damage forces cells to activate NAD+, dependent repair enzymes, reducing that damage helps preserve NAD+ for other functions like energy production and cellular signaling. The nitrate content in spinach is also interesting from a vascular health perspective. Dietary nitrates can be converted to nitric oxide, which dilates blood vessels and improves blood flow. Better cerebral blood flow means better oxygen and nutrient delivery to brain cells, which supports overall metabolic health, including NAD+ metabolism. Some research suggests that leafy greens like spinach may help slow cognitive decline, possibly through this vascular mechanism. However, let's discuss some significant concerns with spinach that rarely get mentioned in popular health discussions. First, spinach is extremely high in oxalates, which are naturally occurring compounds that can bind to calcium and other minerals, forming crystals. For people prone to kidney stones, particularly calcium oxalate stones, spinach can be genuinely problematic and may need to be limited or avoided. High oxalate intake has also been implicated in other health issues, though the research here is still evolving. The oxalate issue also affects nutrient absorption. While spinach contains calcium and iron, the oxalates bind to these minerals, dramatically reducing their bioavailability. Spinach is often promoted as a good source of calcium and iron, but your body actually absorbs very little of these nutrients from spinach compared to other sources. This is misleading marketing that persists in nutritional advice. Spinach is also one of the vegetables most heavily contaminated with pesticide residues according to Environmental Working Group testing. It consistently appears near the top of the dirty dozen list. These pesticides include organophosphates and neonicotinoids that have neurotoxic properties. We're eating spinach supposedly to protect our brains while potentially exposing ourselves to compounds that damage neurological function. Organic spinach is strongly preferable, but it's more expensive and not accessible to everyone. There's also the issue of bacterial contamination. Spinach has been involved in several E. coli and salmonella outbreaks, particularly when eaten raw. While cooking kills these pathogens, cooking also destroys some of the heat-sensitive nutrients like folate and vitamin C. You're stuck choosing between maximum nutrient retention and food safety. The nitrate content, while potentially beneficial for cardiovascular health, can be problematic for some individuals. People taking medications for angina or erectile dysfunction that work through nitric oxide pathways need to be cautious about high nitrate foods. There's also some concern about nitrates converting to nitrosamines, which are carcinogenic compounds, though this appears to be less of a concern with vegetable-sourced nitrates compared to processed meats. For people on blood-thinning medications like warfarin, spinach's high vitamin K content can interfere with medication effectiveness. Vitamin K promotes blood clotting, which is exactly what warfarin is trying to prevent. Patients on these medications need to maintain consistent vitamin K intake and coordinate with their healthcare providers. The goitrogen content in spinach is another consideration. Goitrogens interfere with thyroid function by blocking iodine uptake. For people with hypothyroidism or iodine deficiency, consuming large amounts of raw goitrogenic vegetables like spinach could theoretically worsen thyroid function, though cooking reduces goitrogen activity. Let's also be realistic about how much spinach people actually eat. Raw spinach dramatically reduces in volume when cooked. A huge bowl of raw spinach cooks down to a few tablespoons. To get meaningful amounts of the beneficial compounds, you need to eat substantial quantities regularly. Many people eat spinach occasionally in salads and think they're getting significant nutritional benefits when the actual amount consumed is quite small. The realistic recommendation would be 1 to 2 cups of cooked spinach or 2 to 3 cups of raw spinach, 4 to 5 times per week, preferably organic to minimize pesticide exposure. It should be varied with other leafy greens like kale, Swiss chard, and collard greens rather than relying solely on spinach. In conclusion, spinach offers support for brain health through folate, antioxidants, and nitrates that indirectly support ND+ metabolism and vascular health. However, oxalate content, pesticide contamination, and nutrient bioavailability issues mean it should be one component of a varied diet, not a singular focus.